Well, can you guys guess what this is?
Emptying dustbin.
Well, if you guessed the Roborock S7 with a self-emptying bin, well, congratulations, you are correct. But if you looked at the title, well, you cheated, but I'm not judging. Alright, so the Roborock S7 is a very popular robot for the redesigned extractor bar. Also has the Vibrise, which can lift up its mopping pad and vibrate at 50 Hz or so. So it's a pretty good mopping system, but is the self-emptying bin good?
Emptying dustbin.
Well, hello guys, how's it going? It's Nathan here. I'm super excited today. We got the Roborock S7 with the self-emptying bin in its matching color. And there's a lot of great questions out there. I'm going to answer in this video. So this is the detailed video of the self-emptying bin and if you should get it or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is keep you guys interested. I got this cool tiny little camera here. I'm going to put the camera down underneath the robot as it's self-emptying. And you guys can see that the extractor bar is spinning. Yeah, it's a cool crazy shot. Also put above the robot and you can see the top view. And yes, it sucks up rice, no problem. And lastly, we put this guy inside the canister and see it fill up with rice or other debris. So very, very cool. Next, let's go and check out some interesting questions. First question I got is the self-emptying bin backwards compatible with Roborock's previous models, like the S6 Max V, the S5 Max, the S4, etc., etc. Well, let me show you that right now. So I got the S6 Max V here, has that front-facing camera, and the quick answer is no, but I'll tell you why. First thing, let's talk about the dustbin on the S6 Max V and previous models. One thing to note is there's no air inlet on the dustbin. This is something that's unique to the Roborock S7's dustbin. Now, if you buy the Roborock S7 separately, you get this special dustbin, which is very similar to the original Roborock model's dustbin with no air inlet. But the self-emptying bin does come with the dustbin with the air inlet. So that's probably the most key or most important feature is having that air inlet so it can properly suck out the dirt. Next, let's talk about the S6 Max V's brush roll design and every other previous model is it uses a combination style, bristles and silicone. Now, this will make it very hard to extract dirt and debris out. Even if it's spinning, it will trap in a lot of dirt and debris. So the self-emptying feature will not be very efficient. That's why Roborock went with this all rubber brush design. You could probably find this on iRobot as well, but this is an all brush rubber design. What do I call it? Brush rush? I don't know. Alright, so that's the quick answer is no, it's not backwards compatible, but I don't like to take no for the answer, so let's go ahead and slap on the S6 Max V on the self-emptying bin here, and we'll see if this guy actually works. Okay, so everything was going well. I filled up the dustbin with some rice. I swapped over the two robots. I put the S6 Max V on a docking station. It looked like it was charging, and then I went ahead and jumped into the Roborock S6 Max V's application. Unfortunately, the docking station doesn't show up, so I went over and switched over to the S7 and started and quickly tried to swap out the two robots. But unfortunately, the moment I take the S7 off the docking station, it stops the self-emptying bin process, so there's no way to actually empty out the S6 Max V. So that was a complete fail. Alright, so we're back and there's the answer there. Okay, so next let's talk about if the system is bag or bagless. Well, I did see some information about a bagless system, but at the time of filming this video, it's currently being sold as a bag system. And Roborock does provide a couple bags here. They're disposable. Let's go and check out the bag here. I'll give you guys a look. It's a very large bag. And let's go and get the competitor out here for 1 second. Hold on. I bought with my good friend iRobot the i4 Plus. I will do a comparison with the Roborock S7 and its self-emptying bins. Okay, so you may notice that they both offer disposable bags. And if we take a look at the size here, on the iRobot it's a little bit shorter, about maybe an inch or so shorter, but the length and width is almost identical. So I suspect you get about 40 dustbins worth of dirt on the Roborock system and about 30 or so on the iRobot system. Now I do recommend disposing of bags, which typically will last about 30 to 60 days depending how often you use the robot. But check this out guys, after just 3 weeks there's some nastiness growing. Yeah, I have no clue what that is, but I'm going to definitely throw this guy out once I'm done filming. Okay, so let's talk about the self-emptying bin, how they work. Now on the iRobot system, there's a dedicated extractor port. A lot of these manufacturers go with this style just because it allows them to choose what type of extractor bar they want to use. So for iRobot, they have a double silicone extractor bar, whereas some manufacturers like Ecovacs has a combination bristles and silicone. So this is a really unique way to choose what extractor bar you want. You're not limited just to all silicone design over there. Okay, so one downside to the extractor port is there's this little flap here. Sometimes the debris gets large and it could leak out or cause some issues. So just keep an eye on that little flap there. Okay, so here's a couple things that the iRobot system is better over the Roborock system. One is the robot itself does have a dirt detection sensor. So once the dustbin fills up, I'll show you that. It's kind of hard to see. There is a little infrared sensor in the back here. It will actually detect when the dustbin's full, and the robot vacuum can go back and empty itself as it's doing its cleaning job and then return. I believe iRobot set up to like 70 or so times in a single cleaning session. So that's actually quite impressive. Okay, so next, iRobot system does have an airflow sensor. So what this does is it can detect when there's a blockage, and it will attempt to clear out that blockage multiple times to try to clear out the error. So that's really cool. This system unfortunately just runs, and if there's a block, well, there's a block, and it will let you know. It won't try to make a second attempt or anything. Okay, so let's talk about the reason why the Roborock system is better over the iRobot system and any other self-emptying bin system out there is the filtration system. So if you're sensitive to allergies or dust, I highly recommend getting the Roborock system just because you got this pretty beefy filtration system. This is a true HEPA filtration system and it is washable. So yes, you don't have to worry about small dust particles getting your air, and I think it's down to 0.3 microns, so it should be able to filter out a lot of the dirt and debris. Now, this is something that I had not seen on any other vacuum self-emptying bin system. Usually, they just rely on the bag for the filtration system. Okay, so that's just a quick look at the two side by side. They have the same performance. They both do pretty well, but if I had to choose, I think iRobot's with that dirt detection sensor, also the ability to try to attempt to empty out multiple times is the winner. But if you're sensitive to dirt, well, the S7 Self Emptying bin is top notch. Alright, let's go and get this guy out of here and I'll talk more about the Roborock system. Alright, so let's go and look at this guy in detail. So here's a couple things I know. Notice these little wheels here. So that's interesting. As the robot goes up on a docking station, these wheels kind of help prevent resistance, so it easily gets up on here without slipping. And there's also some nice anti-slip grooves here to help with the traction there. Also, you notice these little rubber or kind of like felt little brushes here. Well, I think that's to help clean out the dirt and debris of the charging contacts. Also, I think it might be for ESD purposes. So, for example, if you're a Roborock technician, you get in here, you can clip on here with the ESD strap, and you won't cause any ESD damage. So that's a really cool design. And here's that very large extractor port. And yes, the extractor bar does spin. And you do have the charging contacts right here. I will check the voltage output rating. Let's do that right now. Alright, so let's look underneath the self-emptying bin. So this is a pretty nice design. There's some nice anti-slip feet here. And when you first get the self-emptying bin, you do have to put the two halves together. And there's some pre-installed screws. I believe there's 5 of them. So just take the clear little Phillips screwdriver and just screw them in. Now, you can take out these 7 screws here and remove this plastic part. So if you have a clog, you can easily empty out the clog, or you can just take like a coat hanger and just go up there gently and remove the clog. I do like the fact that the screws don't fall out, so you can't lose the screws. Okay, so let's go and compare the power output ratings. So for this guy, it accepts the 100 to 120 volt AC, 50 to 60 hertz. So unfortunately, you cannot take this overseas. You do have to get a power converter to up step to 240. Now, you do have the 1.2 amp output with 20 volt DC. This is basically the same as this charger. It puts in the same output, so the charging rate should be the same. Now, if you have the Roborock S6, the docking station is a little bit bigger, and I believe it outputs 1.8 amps, so the charging is a little bit quicker. Okay, so that's just a quick look at the Roborock's underneath self-emptying bin. It's pretty nice, and it just slots back in, and all I have to do is just screw in the 7 screws here. Here's the back of it. One nice thing is you can wrap the cable around, and the cable itself is pretty long. I believe, let's see how long this cable is. We'll unwrap everything for you. Check this out, guys. This cable is pretty long. What do you think? Maybe 4 feet, 5 feet? Yeah, so it's a pretty decent cable, and it's pretty thick to hide the high output that this requires. Now, one thing to note is there is like a little slot right here, so you can put the cable out this way, but there's no little groove for this way, so I guess you don't really need it. And I have no clue what this little backstop is. Maybe it's just a screw port, but there's like a little black right here. Okay, so here's a look at the top here. Let's just kind of give it a twist here, and you can see inside. So this is the filter that is washable, and you just kind of pull up to remove the filter. And look inside there. There's the fan unit, and it has a couple screws, and there's like a little wire mesh to help prevent dirt and debris if dirt and debris gets caught in there. But I want to give you guys a quick look around there. You guys can see exactly what I see. Now let's go and move over here. And this is inside, and this is where the bag sits, and you guys can look. Let me show you how to install the bag here. At the bag in the canister, there's actually these two little grooves. Just kind of line it up and slide in, and you should be able just to push down in here. And once it's done, it should just seal off. And you notice this little clip kind of moves back, so it allows you to close the lid. So very cool. That was just a look at the top part, and once you're done washing the filter, just kind of line up with this arrow right here towards this way and push down. You don't have to twist or anything. And with this guy, there's like a little lock right here. You see that? Just kind of line it up and give it a twist, and it should lock in there. Okay, so I'll give you my final thoughts on the self-emptying bin. I'm glad that Roborock spent some time and perfected the design and then just put something out there. I have seen that in other manufacturers, and it was pretty disappointing. Alright, so the wheels here are really nice. It helps the robot get on top of the docking station. Now for like the EcoVax, if there's some dirt and debris, it would struggle with it. But luckily, the robot was able to dock without any issues. Also, these little brushes, nice, help clean the charging contacts, and I think they're for ESD purposes. Now for the filtration system, it's one of the best out there, especially with that true HIP filter system. It's washable, so it's really nice, especially for people that are sensitive to dust, debris. Also, I like the fact that you can change the power levels. So if you're having dinner and you don't want to be disturbed, well, you can go on low and this thing will be quieter and won't run as long. So that's really cool that Roborock kind of thought of how the user would use this self-emptying bin. Okay, so the downside is there's no dirt detection system in the robot. So if the dustbin's full, you do have to manually tell it to go back to its dock station to empty. Also, the extractor port, even though it's a pretty nice design, limits the types of extractor bars you could use. You cannot use a hybrid style or bristle style because it may hinder the performance of the extractor bar or the extraction system. Alright, so thanks for watching.